Hi everybody, I'm Ben, and today I'm going to put in an electric fencer just to keep my horse in this little paddock. And basically all you need to put in an electric fencer is a fencing pliers, a ratchet, a hammer, which I've got a big one because I believe bigger is better, and a jewel meter so we can test the fence when we're done. So we'll start out. This is our electric fencer here. I've got it off, unplugged obviously. This is a PW500. They come in all different models. This one is a plug-in one. They do make solar fencers. So one of your most important things that you want to keep in mind when putting in a fencer is to make sure you have a good ground. And so that's what we'll start with. I've got 2 ground rods here, which I know will work in this soil here in Minnesota, but depending on where you are in the country, you may need 3 or even 4 or possibly longer ground rods. So basically what you do with these, you can do it any number of ways, but you can make them go out either way or on either side of the fencer. So what I'm going to do here today is put it on either side of the fencer. So I'll put the one without the ground wire in first. This is really soft soil, so I can just push these down, but in other soils you may need a hammer, which is why I have it. Now I do already have the ground wire hooked up. One thing I should show you is the ground wire clip, and that's what you're going to need your wrench for. On the other ground wire I'll have to grab the other clip that I took off and show you, but basically you just clip this on to your ground rod. This is a 14 gauge wire, which works best for me. You could probably use 16 or 18 as well. So I'll put this one in. So that was not going to go in as easy. So we will use the hammer. Like I said, these are actually fairly short ground rods. You can use as long as you want, as far as down as you can get. So here's the other ground rod clip. So it's got a 9/16 bolt on the end of it. So basically what we do here is we slide this ground rod clip in there. I don't know how well you can see that, but so you just clip it right to the ground rod like that, so that the wire's going through over to that other ground rod, and then we'll tighten it up using my wrench. And this is where you need a ratchet or whatever. You can use a 9/16 wrench as well. I'll just tighten that up so it's pretty solid. You do kind of want to keep the vegetation to a minimum where your ground rod is. It's not critical, but as much as possible. So then basically we're ready to hook up our fencer. I've already hooked this up to my electric wire, or this is the wire that I put around the pasture. They do make clips for these. I find it just as easy to wrap the wire around the electric fence like this. So, and I've already made a little loop in this wire, as you can see there. So basically when we're hooking up the fencer, we just take these little connectors off, and they'll sometimes be in the front or on top. The red is going to be your live wire, and your black is going to be your ground. It's got 2 little washers on there, so you put one washer on the bottom, put your ground wire on, or your live wire on, put the other washer on top, and then just hand tighten it. You don't have to use a wrench and really get super tight. So I've hand tightened that one. And then we'll take our ground wire that's connected to our ground rods. As you can see there, I've already got a loop in that one as well. So we'll take our connector off. That also has two of these washers, one on the bottom, one on the top. So you just put your wire on there. And tighten it up.
Yeah.
So once we get that tight, we're basically ready to plug it in and test our fence with our joule meter. So our power here is connected in this building. We got that plugged in. For all you people who are brave, I suppose you could just grab the fence, but I'm not near that brave. So these joule meters, this is your ground. You just stick that in the ground as far as you can, and then touch it to the fence. And hopefully you can see that, but it's blinking all the way up to the 2,000 joules or 3,000. So that is plenty good for a horse. This fencer really isn't made for probably cattle because you want it a little bit stronger than that, but for horses it works just fine.